Good evening, everybody. My name is Laura Hart. If you can't already tell, I'm the Special Chief Inspector in Merseyside Police, Special Constabulary. I would just like to start off by saying thank you to our sponsor, Police Mutual, who's sponsoring the webinars for us. So background to me, I am the Special Chief Inspector in Merseyside Special Constabulary. I've been in the Special Constabulary 15 years this year. And I also lead on work stream 10, which is welfare for the national working group that's run by the NPCC lead, the DEP in North Wales, Mr. Dubisky. I'm part of, well, the overall achievement of the work stream is to build a model of wellbeing for all special constabularies to be able to be signposted to. So I'm really proud of these webinars, and I would also like to say thank you to the National Federation and the comms team that work in the background as well. So I would now like to formally introduce Belinda Goodwin, who's the National Wellbeing Lead for the Federation. Thank you.
Thanks, Laura. Welcome everybody, and thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to come and listen to this webinar today. And we're hoping the last few have been really cool, so we're hoping that this one is just as successful. As Laura said, I'm Belinda Goodwin. I'm a Met officer from my dulcet tones. Some people probably think definitely either that or Essex. Over 20 years service. I actually started my career as a PCSO and worked alongside a lot of special constables, and certainly through my regular career. So I'm really grateful for the work that you do as volunteers. So like I said, PFEW, Police Federation of England and Wales, I'm the wellbeing lead, and I have been in this position now, and a privileged position for nearly 5 years. We work on 4 pillars of wellbeing: mental health wellbeing, physical wellbeing, financial wellbeing, and general wellbeing. There's a lot of work that goes on within this portfolio, and a lot of work that I'm really proud of that we've worked on, certainly with Nikki Ryan and others within that business area. Today we're going to talk about and look at police treatment centres. And what I wanted to do is, I cannot reiterate to you guys enough about how life-changing and our life-supporting our police treatment centres are. We've got 4 around the country. We've got a couple of people from Flint House and Harrogate on the call today. But it is literally life-saving, and they've been going for over 100 years. They started off with people that wanted to invest money or look after police officers. It enables our officers to get access to a bespoke treatment, either physical or mental health, to get back to work a lot quicker through physio. It is world leading. This is a cost, such a low cost to our officers for the benefits that they get. Our officers, regular officers, pay for this out of their own wages. It's not given to them by the force, it's subs. And they also get some donations throughout the year and do some fundraising, which as a federation we really do try and take part in. There's one next month, a challenge, a 10,000 step a day challenge that we'll take part in. I've paid in since becoming a police officer. Thank God I've not needed it. I probably should have gone, but it's one of them where you think, oh, maybe I won't go. But I still continue to pay for it because I want my colleagues to be able to access it. And without our subs and without donations, they won't exist. So I really hope you really enjoy today's session and get a lot out of it. And just think about, the value that will bring. You've got proper day jobs. Not that us regulars don't, but you have got different day jobs to what you do, giving up your time as volunteers, as police officers, and some of that probably does take a toll on you physically or mentally. So this, I cannot stress enough how valuable this is, an investment in yourself, for yourself and for your family, because if you do need that support, and accessibility, you know, for your physical or mental health or mental well-being, your family will benefit or your loved ones will benefit from it as well. So without going on too much, that's me. Listen to the sessions, listen to the experts around the country. And without further ado, I shall hand over now to Zoe. Thank you.
Hi everyone. I hope you can hear me. So I was just going to do a really very brief explanation. So I'm Zoe. I'm from the police treatment centres, and we have two centres, one in Harrogate and one in Oxford in Scotland. And then my colleague Charlie is here from Flint House, and they have their home in Goring upon Thames. So you will have seen from the previous slide, we kind of split the country in half, essentially. And we offer pretty much the same, similar things. So we're just going to kind of talk about what each of us offer, and then there'll be time for questions at the very end of the session. So I'll hand over to Charlie and she'll talk about Flint House.
Thank you, Zoe. Good evening, everyone. So I'm Charlie and I work at Flint House. So if you haven't heard of Flint House, we are entirely funded on donations from police officers, and sometimes we do some fundraising. So we're doing a big step challenge next month, which will help the work that we do, help provide funding for the work that we do. So we provide physical rehabilitation for police officers, PCSOs, PCSIs. We also have mental health support. We have a mental health program, and we have a conditioning program as well. So if you were going to do a job-related fitness test, or if you failed your job-related fitness test, we can support you with that as well. So we offer most of our services we can do residentially, but we can also have outpatients as well. So yeah, we've got a really super cool video to explain a bit more about what we do at Flint House, and I'll be available to answer any questions you might have. My email address is there as well, so if you have anything that you want to perhaps find out about Flint House afterwards, I think this will be shared with you as well. And also a link to our website and how you can sign up and donate to our service as well. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks so much for having me this evening, and yeah, enjoy. Thank you.
If you're not paying into Flint House, why aren't you? It's not just a security policy for yourself if you need it due to any kind of injury on or off duty, but it's also there to support colleagues.
All colleagues should definitely join Flint House. You don't know what's going to happen. It has enabled me to get back to work quicker. It's enabled me to be a mum to my children. The small donation that you make is nothing compared to what you get from that.
Flint House is a world-class rehabilitation facility that offers support for physical injuries and mental health support for police officers and retired police officers.
Programs that we run, we have the physiotherapy program and the mental health program.
Outside of Flint House you can be very busy. When you come here you can concentrate on getting better. You've got people here looking after you, and you can really put the time and effort into yourself, whether that be for looking after a physical injury or for your mental health.
Flint House is for everyone. It's from your new recruits to someone that's a lot further down their career, and we also take retired officers as well.
If something's bothering you, even if you're on full duties at work and you're just getting by, it's important that you get it looked at. It's important that that's the time that you invest in yourself to prevent things getting worse. It can be a sporting injury at the weekend. It could be lifting up your young child and, you know, gives you some back pain. It doesn't have to be something that's caused by work. And I'd say the majority of things that we see people for aren't always work-related injuries.
December 2017, I was involved in a serious road traffic accident. It resulted in me being in a coma, left hospital in a wheelchair. I came to Flint House in the March, arrived here on a pair of crutches and had an intensive 2 weeks of great physiotherapy, hydrotherapy, and I left after those 2 weeks not requiring crutches. I think that shows you a good example really of the care that the staff here give to police officers on a daily basis.
We're not just here to treat and get police officers better. It's a two-way system. They come and are educated and supported, but they're also giving us information about what it's like for them out there as police officers, and we're learning from that, so we can mould our classes and our treatment to help them from what they're telling us they need.
Flint House have been absolutely fantastic. Within 5 days of being here, they got me off of crutches and onto a walking stick, and they helped me manage my pain.
So when I first landed at Flint House, I could hardly bend my knee, felt really vulnerable, really frightened about moving it, and by the time I left, I was ready to go back to work.
In one word, invaluable. I've paid into it all my service, 21 years, and I never ever thought I would need it. But when I did, crikey, did I need it. The facilities here were just everything and more to what I needed at that time.
They know their stuff. They are really experienced physios and experienced in their field, so you know that you're getting the very best care, and they are just amazing, absolutely amazing, and so helpful. Nothing's too much trouble.
On average, we have 3,500 police officers attend Flint House every year. At any one time, we can have up to 150 patients on site.
We are in demand, and I think with the social acceptance of mental health and well-being as a phrase now, as a term, that's allowing more police officers to come forward and say, yeah, I'm struggling a bit, I need a bit of help. So that has allowed them to come forward.
Young people think they're invincible. No matter how old you are, things will go wrong, whether that be a traumatic incident, stepping off a curb and twisting your ankle. You'll need Flint House at any age, especially in the physically and stressfully demanding job as the police force. At some point, everybody will need Flint House. At some point, everybody, might have an injury. You don't have to be injured on duty.
If it wasn't for Flint House, I don't know where I would be right now. I think I would probably be permanently disabled.
Flint House is fantastic because it has the clinical expertise, it has the environment, and it has the facilities to support police officers and staff who are struggling and need help and support.
I wouldn't stop paying for it. I'd be willing to pay more for it. You don't know if you're going to get injured at work, and actually if there's somewhere that you can go and get that treated, why wouldn't you pay into it?
People should be contributing to the charity because you're not only looking after yourself, you're looking after your colleagues, you're looking after your fellow police officer that might be on shift with you. You're investing in the police family, and that's really important.
If we didn't have Flint House, we would struggle to maintain officers' fitness, really, following injury. I think we've got somewhere that we can go, which is just for police. So we're surrounded by like-minded people who think the same as us, who are as driven as us, and it also means that we can go there and be fixed and look after ourselves. So I've said before, if we can't look after ourselves, how can we look after other people? The
police officer's role is to protect us. Our role is to look after them. We're here to support you whether it was an injury on or off duty. It's a fantastic opportunity to invest in yourself.
Great, thank you so much everyone for watching. Oh, this is a little bit of music at the end. So if you'd like to sign up and donate, you can go onto our website, which is just www.flinthouse.co.uk, and there's a sign up button there. It costs £7.37 a month to if you wanted to donate, and then you can come and see us whenever you have any sort of injury. So if you sprain your ankle when you're walking your dog, or if you've got back pain, like Ian, our physio, was saying in the video, you can come and see us. And yeah, if you've got any questions, please put them in the chat box and then I can answer anything at the end. And I will pass over to the lovely Zoe from Police Treatment Centres.
Thanks very much, Charlie. So hi, I'm Zoe. I'm from the Police Treatment Centres. I'm based at our Harrogate Centre, and I'm going to quickly talk to you about the Police Treatment Centres and also the Police Children's Charity as well. I'm going to have to do that awkward COVID thing of going, next slide, please. So yeah, apologies. And again, please. So the Police Children's Charity. We are a charity that supports families of officers, whether they have passed away, whether their partner has passed away, or if the police donor parent has had to be medically retired from their job. We've recently extended the eligibility for this charity to match that of the police treatment centres. So that now also includes PCSOs, special constables, detention and custody officers, and CSI and police staff investigators as well. Not only do we provide that help, but we also have a couple of grants that we're able to support you now, and nothing terrible needs to have happened to yourself or your partner. If you've got children now and you feel that they might benefit from a counselling grant or kind of a wellbeing grant, we're able to help with that as well. Next one, please. So yeah, I've kind of covered this. We now support you guys as special constables, which is really good. Next, please. So should the unimaginable ever happen and your family do ever need our help, we provide this plethora of grants that we're able to support the young people in your family until the age of 25. So it's a really good variety of grants that we are able to provide to families. Next one, please. This is the grants that I mentioned that you could access now. So again, if children in your family you feel might need benefit from some counselling, we're able to offer a counselling grant and then an extra wellbeing grant as well. So people have used those to buy things like noise cancelling headphones for children that might find all that kind of excess noise really difficult to cope with. We've had people build lodges in their gardens to help with autistic children as well. So there's a good variety of things we can support with, so you'll be able to access that straight away. Next slide, please. It's a really tiny donation in order to be eligible for this support. It's just £1.50 per month, and that's made by direct debit, and then that covers your family should anything happen to you. So do have a look on our website if that's something that you're interested in, because it is there for you guys now to take advantage of. Thank you. Next one, please. So I'm going to talk to you about the police treatment centres next. So Charlie's kind of talked about Flint House, and you will have seen how we split the country in half pretty much. So we kind of deal with the forces from West Mids upwards, and that applies to the children's charity as well. For forces not covered by us with the children's charity, you'd fall under the Gurney Fund. So yeah, it's just kind of like a line in the middle of the country. Next one, please. So the same as with Flint House, we are a police charity. 90% of our income comes from officers donating to be eligible for our treatment. The rest of it we have to make up in various different ways. We actually have two centres. So we have one in Harrogate and we have one in Oxford in Scotland. You can go to either of them. It doesn't matter where you are geographically based in the country. And again, same as Flint House, you can attend for rehabilitation and mental health support for conditions or injuries sustained on or off duty. It can be a pre-existing condition or a little niggle now. We're able to help with that. Next slide, please. So this is what we do, our physiotherapy and our psychological wellbeing programmes. But we are a residential centres, the same as Flint House. So you get access to private ensuite accommodation, all your catering's provided for you, access to fitness classes, the fantastic rehab gym, hydrotherapy pools and leisure pools as well. It's all kind of covered when you come. Next slide, please. So as I've said, we've got a pretty wide eligibility criteria at the police treatment centres, and special constables are covered within that. Next one, please. So in order to get our support, you need to be donating to the charity, and it's £7.80 per month that's paid by direct debit, and that covers everything should you ever need us. Once you start paying, you do need to be donating for 12 months before you can access treatment. That's kind of the only kind of stipulation that we've got. So yeah, pretty easy really, and there'll be a link that will get sent to you that's got a link directly to our online direct debit form as well. Next slide, please. So I'll just quickly kind of talk about the support that you can get when you are with us. So we have a physiotherapy program. Our residential program is for up to 2 weeks, but we can do split weeks. We can do flexible programs with the physiotherapy depending on your needs, your clinical needs, your home life, things like that. We also have self-catering cottages at both of our centres. So if coming away for a week, 2 weeks from family might be really difficult, you can bring them to our cottages. With the residential physio, it is intensive physio for the time that you're with us. It's tailored to you. We've got the luxury of time, and that we're able to just spend that time with you, seeing what you need and what you're going to benefit from the most. We also offer an online physiotherapy service, so that's up to 6 sessions of physio. Just trying to, again, just make it as flexible as possible so you can access that from the comfort of your own home. That doesn't negate you coming residentially either. Sometimes we kind of top people up with online physio while they're waiting to come to us as well. So we also have a psychological wellbeing program. This is residential only and is a set kind of 2-week program. We offer, it's kind of in a small class situation, and we offer group workshops and support groups, kind of taster sessions to help you deal with mild to moderate anxiety and depression. We aren't a crisis centre, so we're trying to get to you before you get to that point or when you're working your way out of it. On the programme, we also offer counselling, so 3 to 5 sessions of counselling, and also officers get offered complementary therapy as well. So again, it'll depend on kind of what's going to suit you and perhaps what you're more likely to carry on with after you've had that time with us. Next one, please. So as I said, one of the benefits, oh, can we go back a slide? Sorry. The time. One of the benefits that we've got is that we have got that luxury of time to spend with you that you wouldn't have in an NHS appointment, for example. We're able to take that time to get to know you and know what's going to work best for you after you've had that time with us. And it's just the time for you to relax and not be thinking about work or home or anything else that you've got going on outside of being here. It's a real benefit to coming away. Next one, please. One of the other kind of unique selling points is the expertise. You've got access to a multidisciplinary team all under one roof, all there to look after you whilst you're here. So that includes physiotherapists, nurses, we've got fitness instructors as well, counsellors and complementary therapists. They all take the time to kind of learn about your job and your role as well, so everything is kind of specific and tailored to you. Next one, please. And the same as kind of it was mentioned in Flint House as well. We really like to look after you when you're with us. So the facilities that you get when you are with us residentially are class leading. We've got fantastic fitness facilities, but we've got beautiful grounds, social lounges, etc. when you're here as well. So it is a chance to totally unwind in some really lovely surroundings. Next slide, please. So in terms of should you ever need us, like I say, you do need to be donating, so you'll have to set up your donation with us. Application forms are available on our website. Like I said, we're able to offer flexible stays when it comes to our residential programme, and you can access either of our centres, either in Harrogate or Oxford in Scotland. Everything that happens with us is entirely confidential, so nothing gets written up and goes back to anyone. I know some people can be a bit worried about that. And everything is clinically assessed, so we'll kind of deem what's most appropriate for you and work with you to decide on that. Next slide, please. So yeah, you're going to get sent a link as well, but just in case anyone wanted to really quickly scan the QR code, that goes straight through to our online direct debit form for you to sign up. Yeah, I think as everyone said, it's kind of an investment in yourself and your physical and your mental well-being for, you know, less than a cost of a coffee and a cake in Costa. You've got that insurance, be that with ourselves or with Flint House. So yeah, same as Charlie, I shall linger and happy to answer any questions at the end. But for now, I am going to hand over to Edith, who's going to talk to you a bit about her experience of being here with us in Harrogate.
Hi. Right, so I'm hoping that we will have some slides coming up. Here we go. Right, so thank you, Claire, and thank you, Zoe, for that introduction as well. So anybody who's heard me speak before on webinars in relation to the Special Constabulary know that I like my pictures. So this is not going to be any different. I do like a bit of a slideshow of photos, and I generally talk around those photos. That's how I work. So I'm just going to talk about my experience, really. I'm going to talk about what was available to me at Harrogate. And then the second part, at the end of the slides, I'm just going to give a little bit of a rundown of the benefits of what I felt and what I think you can also get from this experience. So yeah, and there are a couple of selfies there. I'm also known as the selfie queen, so bear with me. I've tried to keep them to a limited number. Right, so next slide, please. It's that COVID thing again, isn't it? So again, just a very quick background. I've been a member of police staff for 14 years now, but I've only been a special for 3 years. But I had heard about colleagues speaking to me, police officers generally, when I was a member of staff, about the police treatment centres. And it's the PTC here for us in North Wales. And they were raving about it and basically saying how good it was. And I looked into it. And of course, as police staff, or the role I was doing, I wasn't able to join at the time. I have to say that the first thing I did when I joined as a special constable 3 years ago was sign up to the PTC, because I already knew the benefits. Hopefully by the end of this, you'll be just as convinced as well. So the first slide there, that is a picture of the inside of the Harrogate building, St Andrews, and the outside as well. I went on the 2-week, there's 2 types. You can go on the physio, which is also residential, as Zoe just said, and there's also the wellbeing programme, which is fairly new, I believe. I went on the wellbeing programme. I was there for 2 weeks, residential, and because I was travelling from so far, I came up the night before, and they put me up the night before. From the moment I stepped in through that door, I felt welcomed, I have to say. I was quite late arriving because it's such a long journey for me. There was somebody there to meet me, to give me my room key, to make sure I was settled in, and it was just brilliant from the first moment. I have to say at that point as well, there were people who were still there at the weekend, because some people stay over the weekend. There was somebody there, a lovely couple, who one of them had been staying and were about to finish and go home, and their partner, and what they literally sort of made me a cup of tea in the there's like a lounge, made me a cup of tea, and they gave me the last remnants of their fabric softener and said, you might need this if you haven't brought any, with the washing powder and everything, but you might want some fabric softener. And I just thought, wow, that's just nice. So next slide, please. This is just to show how from home it is, really. You've got all the washing facilities, you don't have to worry about any of that. Get a nice little room, everything in there, little telly, wardrobe, absolutely everything you need. And that bottom picture, that's probably my favourite room. That is where you can buy extra snacks if you want, but there's always tea and coffee and hot chocolate on the go, and water. So that is generally where all of us used to congregate and have little chats after various sessions or classes that we'd been to. Next slide, please. So here you can see some of the food. The food was amazing. You will not go hungry there. They really look after you. So that's a picture of the dining room. There is a bit of an ethos when you go there, and you don't quite pick up on that until I'd say maybe halfway, where you realise that it's deliberately inclusive in a way. So you go there not knowing anybody. You might notice somebody from the same force as you, perhaps, or somebody on the same session as you or classes, but you're put on tables with different people so that you meet other people who are there for different reasons and doing different sessions. So it's really lovely. You get to meet everyone that's there in a way. The staff are amazing. Some of the catering staff have been there for years and years, so it kind of shows it must be a really nice place to work as well. They look after you if you've got any dietary needs. That's just a picture of one of the puddings and one of the meals I had. I think that was the sea bass. It was absolutely amazing. They're so friendly, really are, and just couldn't fault them. I think what's important to say here as well, and this is going to be throughout what I'm going to talk about, is that feeling of they care for you. And that hit home where somebody from the sort of the class, I'm going to call it, that I was with, didn't turn up for lunch one day, and it was noticed. And, you know, your welfare throughout is picked up on. And if something isn't quite right or you're struggling or something, they check out, they make sure you're all right. So you're encouraged to attend all of the meals and you know, and have something and catch up with people, really. Next slide, please. Okay, so yeah, classes, information, advice. There's just so much stuff available, and I've just put a couple of pictures there of a class timetable and one of the information boards. They have literally covered anything that you can think of. There's information about alcohol, smoking, lifestyle, mental health as well, and they've tailored it so that it kind of relates to what we do on the front line as well. And they know what we go through when we're out there, some of the things that we might face or go through and how our minds might think about these things after. And I think particularly for us as special constables, we're not constantly on duty, are we? We might do a shift, something might happen, and then we're back in our day jobs. So there was advice on how to deal with that kind of situation. Stress is another one. And because you're there for 2 weeks, you've got the time. You are not allowed to do work. Basically, that's one of the first things they check, that you haven't brought your laptop. You need to devote that 2 weeks to your own welfare, basically. So you've got the time to wander around the building and read these things and really learn and research about how to sort of improve your health and well-being. Next slide, please. Oh yeah, one of the things I failed to mention there was the classes. In between whatever you're there for, if you're there for physio, then you will have specific classes that you need to go to. But in between, you can sign up to extra things, and there's all sorts of things: yoga, Pilates, stretches, aqua classes in the pool, relaxation, cycling. You know, I can't remember what it's called now, where you cycle really fast in a room. Pain talk, nutrition, all of these kind of things. Make the most is what I would say, because it's a great opportunity to try something new if you haven't maybe got the confidence to go to your local leisure centre to try it as well. And it's included, they're all included in this, basically, in what you pay on a monthly basis. Books and stuff you can borrow as well. So here in this slide you can see that book on the left. It's can't remember the way now, the horse, the fox, that one. It's a really good motivational book. There's loads of books that they let you borrow and read whilst you're there, and leaflets. There's all sorts for you as well. So mind, body and spirit is another aspect, especially if you're on that wellbeing programme. That picture there is of a waiting room for the counselling sessions. They have got some amazing counsellors that you can access if you need them while you're there. And there's a relaxation, aromatherapy and massages available as well, all parts of that sort of stress, management of stress and things. So again, it's just brilliant. There's also access to the Thrive app that you can have as well when you're there, and that will give you that ongoing access to support after you've left as well, including I believe there's a facility where you can fill in like daily questionnaires, and if you trigger a certain level where you're feeling quite low or something, they'll give you like online counselling. So that is like the Thrive app that Harrogate has kind of like subscribed to, so that's good as well. Coping strategies is another one that's available. Some really good things that you can build on and take away. You're encouraged to sort of really devote this time to invest the time while you're there, rather than just spending time scrolling through Facebook, really, or that kind of thing. To invest in your future, because these are tips that you can take away with you, and make changes if you require to make changes, you know, in how you sort of have your work-life balance, for example. Next slide, please. So time out. I've just put sorry for the feet there, but there's some really lovely rooms where you can relax with some recliners. They are used for mindfulness sessions and this kind of thing, but they are then open for you to use at any time. That picture on the left-hand side is the sensory room, and you can have different lights on. I just used to love to go there with a book and read. So yeah, so that's another benefit as well, just that peace and quiet, and there literally is nothing else for you to do other than concentrate on yourself, really, and your well-being. Next slide, please. The courtyard, morning coffee here was lovely. So it's a little courtyard where the sun comes in, and it was so relaxing just to take your coffee there and look at your timetable and see what you had going on that day. I used to like to take a coffee from that wonderful coffee machine in reception, and take my book there and read, because I'd made it my mission to finish a novel while I was there, something that I struggle with when I'm at home because I've got so much going on. So it was really nice to have that slow pace of life, and they really encourage that. They do encourage it. So again, you might think, oh gosh, I'd really like to try all these classes. But again, one of the things you have to learn is the balance. And I think as special constables in particular, we probably find doing that quite difficult. We're natural doers, aren't we? We want to get involved, we want to help, we want to invest time in helping our communities. Going on this for me has helped me sort of look at what I'm doing and balance what I do. So that time is just really worthwhile, just having that time to really look at yourself, instead of other people all the time. Yeah, and help yourself in a way. Next slide, please. So these are, I hope you can still see me and hear me. Just the connection was going there. So this is the lovely fountain that was in the sensory gardens. There's all sorts of plants there, as you can see. There's a fish pond, birds. It was just a photographer's paradise. I really loved that. We were encouraged as well to go around there and do some mindfulness. There were people in my class that never really, but they tried it and they loved it. And it is all about putting everything into the time you've got there, and making the most of everything, really. Next slide, please. So again, you know, I used to just love spending time. I was there in October, so you know, had all these mushrooms out and had all these flowers and wildlife. It was just really relaxing. Some of us in my sort of group, we would go for little strolls or walks together. Sometimes we just needed time out on ourselves, by ourselves, and you know, it just worked really well. Again, you know, the grounds are beautiful, like Zoe said before. Next slide, please. Company, okay, so I did find a toad, and it was only after that I was told I should have picked it up. I didn't realise that. But yeah, the wildlife there is amazing. There's a little cat that I named the Harrogate cat. It was just hanging around, and it was there when I arrived on that Sunday evening. Fish in the fish pond, and squirrels and birds. They were everywhere, and it was just so nice to watch them. Again, it's that focus on time to yourself, really, and mindfulness, even if you're doing it subconsciously without realizing. We were kind of sat in the garden and just watching all this going on, and it's lovely. And a top tip, when you I didn't get a picture of the squirrels or the birds, but I searched for a picture in Google, and don't search just squirrel and birds, because the first one that came up was a squirrel eating a bird, which wasn't ideal. Yeah, so next slide, please. keeping busy, plenty of stuff to do, but again, you're encouraged not to go and do work. We all have stuff that we probably think we should be doing work-wise, but again, this is your time, and it's probably the only 2 weeks, if you go there, that you get to concentrate on yourself, just yourself. So there's plenty of things to do: pool table, games, DVD, books, darts. It's a sanctuary, really. Again, if we can have the next slide, please. You've got your pool, you've got gym, the crafts room as well. Somebody on my group started crafting. They'd never done it before. They loved this. They got a new hobby. Then you've got the rooms, the silver room. That was lovely in the morning, where you can read your newspapers and have a coffee and just relax, really, in between. Next slide, please. I've lost the rest of my notes, but the blue room. So this is my favourite room because I'm a pianist as well. And they said, yeah, you can use the piano if you want. That's what it's there for. So there's a telly in there. So when people weren't using it, I was just going there playing the piano, and I just found it really relaxing just to sort of go into my own world and play the piano as well. I've got a little clip there. It's an Audi, but I was just sight reading that. So anybody who knows an Audi on there and know that there's any mistakes there, then please forgive me. I just found it was such a really sort of nice room to be able to just relax in, really, and just put a DVD on. And sometimes people would walk in and watch something with you. Other times you were there on your own. Next slide, please. So group walk with the physio. The physio was great. The physio that we had, he was a guy who was full of enthusiasm, and it was just amazing just to talk to him, really. The advice, the tips, and then we had this group walk. And it was brilliant because he was saying, oh, look at all those conkers, let's pick them up. And so, yeah, it was like being young again, and it was lovely, and it's just so good for the soul. So some of those pictures there are from the botanical gardens that we went around. There's also, literally down the road from the centre, there's a local park that you go for walks as well. Next slide, please. And that's what some of us did in the evenings. We would go for walks, maybe down through the park and into town. And like I said, you know, we had the sort of the Christmassy type lights up there. So so that was really nice as well. Again, like I said, it's an opportunity to meet other people from other police forces, perhaps, who may be in the same boat as you, or that they're obviously struggling with something, either physical, mental health. I've kept in touch with 3 people from my course, and we're sort of still in touch and asking how each other are doing, and it's just really nice, and that ongoing support, if you like. But there's no pressure to do that. When you go there, there is no pressure to explain to anyone why you're there, what your injury is, what you're sort of struggling with, because they don't want that sort of feeling that there's almost like, not a competition, but sometimes people feel, oh gosh, my injury isn't as bad as that, you know. So that, you know, it's very, very friendly in that sense, where you can just give what you want in terms of information. Next slide, please. And the giant dogs, everybody loved these. Okay, so that's the lovely Anne in the centre there, and that with one of the cooks there as well, actually. But these are the giant dogs that they come in twice a week, I think it is. Leonbergers, they are. I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly, but they're amazing. Everybody loves seeing the dogs. They're certified therapy dogs, so gentle giants, but it's just so nice to see them. So they're there as well. So if you like animals, then it's perfect. You just get that opportunity to see them as well. And now I'm sort of coming towards the end. So what I'm going to move on to now is just cover a little bit of the benefits to me, and what I think that everybody else can also get from joining these police treatment centres, really. So for me, one of the top benefits was time. It was 2 weeks to really sort of reflect on how much I was doing for me personally. Stress, that kind of thing. My pace of life was just so intense. was a reality check by impartial people, because these people don't know us. So they do take the time to sit you down and to know about you, what issues you have, what injuries you have. They really know about you and they really care. I had many breakthroughs and light bulb moments, which I'm still working on in some respects on some of them, but it was a brilliant sort of starting point for me with making some changes in life. Another thing was, it's all kind of gently enforced. They will check on you to make sure that you're not sort of stressed and doing work while you're there as well. They'll check if you don't turn up to a class or if you don't turn up to your meals or whatever. They really care. And I think that's when it hit home that, you know, you can't get that anywhere else. You can't, you know, like somebody was mentioning before about, you know, you can sign up or you can pay for private physio or whatever, but this is literally, they're there for you and you can tell that they really care. So it was nice to literally be looked after instead of the other way around, because we do, don't we? In our roles, we tend to look after other people, whether that's in our day jobs or as a special constable. New contacts and friends, like I said, it's been amazing to meet some like-minded people going through the same things as you, and make contacts. And also tips for life. They do teach you some amazing things. And, you know, I was kind of convinced about it before I joined, but based on what other people had said. But once I'd been there, I was like, this is just top stuff. Health, fitness, mind and body. It's an investment in your well-being, really, and your future. I knew halfway through that I would want to be an ambassador after this, because it was just so brilliant from, you know, day one. So that's probably why I've got pictures, just in case you thought, why was she taking pictures of so many things? But I knew I wanted to promote this as soon as I'd left, basically. And I copied what I'd put on the feedback form. And the feedback form for me, these are some of the things I put, that I'd had many breakthroughs, many light bulb moments. It felt like a warm hug. That might sound cheesy, but it really did. It really felt that they cared about you. It was a faultless experience from my point of view. There was nothing I could put in the box and said, anything we can improve. They helped to put some jigsaw pieces, not just for me, but for others. And obviously I can't go into details about other people, but so many people around me were saying, do you know what? That's what I need to change, or this is what I need to do going forwards. I saw the change in other people. It was amazing. They're really, really friendly as well. We couldn't fault them. Everyone, the nights porters or nights staff who were there, kind of making sure everything's all right. Guards, if you like night staff. Most of them were retired officers, so they know what we've been through. They know, and if they see you can't sleep or something, and you're up in the lounge, they'll go and have a chat with you to make sure you're all right. That's the kind of level of care that goes on there. So for me, before I finish, I would just be saying that this is, if I haven't convinced you, I don't think I can. You know, you're investing in your well-being, your welfare and your future. And, you know, I think it was Belinda that said, you know, it's not much per month for this. The minimum donation is £7.80, I think, for the PTC. And you've got to look after yourself. It's that airplane analogy as well, isn't it? You've got to put that oxygen mask on yourself before you can help others. So investing in yourself is important for your own future as well as your families.